WMMS.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I was wondering if you knew about the Purple Rain when they had between Baby, like I Would Die For You and Baby I'm a Star, like they have some backwards messages a lot of people don't know about.
Well, we have one coming up from...
That's at the end of Darling Nikki, I think.
Right, that one we have coming up.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know about the other one. And I was, like, wondering if you could hear it, too.
There's another one?
Yeah, that most people don't know about. It's at the beginning of Baby I'm a Star.
At the beginning of Baby I'm a Star.
Yeah, like between the two songs.
Really?
Yeah. And I was wondering, like, I don't know.
Okay, we'll go to work on that one.
And I disagree with that guy and his opinion that doesn't influence people, because people can get really into it, and it has a lot to do with what you're thinking and stuff.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
So what... You're convinced then that not only are these messages there, but that they were put there purposely to have a diabolical influence on people who are listening?
Yeah. I guess that's what I'm saying, because, like, maybe, you know, he doesn't believe that, but that's just an opinion, and you know.
Well, why would a band be motivated to do that?
Like, to get interest and to have power over people and get them involved, like a kind of cult, like a musical thing.
That's an interesting thought. In other words, maybe the bands have some huge ego drive or something that causes them to want people to really to worship them, even, you're saying.
Yeah, and when they kind of have that power, when they're getting those messages and they're in your brain, and people get into them and stuff.
Okay. Appreciate your call.
Okay, thanks.
And we'll go to work on that other Prince when we've got one, but I guess we...
Steve,
we got it. You already have it? You work fast.
Called a little bit. Yeah, I'm speedy here, Steve. See if I can do it, though. Okay, here it is forward. This is, it's the beginning of Baby I'm a Star, right after I Would Die For You. Let's see if it's... There, you hear it?
I'm not sure.
Oh, it was there. Take my word for it. Here, let's see. Here.
Now, so are we going to hear it backward now? Or?
Yeah, backward.
All right.
I think. Whoop, wait a minute. Under control.
Any moment now, we'll be hearing it.
I'm trying to figure out how to work in here. Here we go. Okay, here. Whoa.
I'm not sure exactly what it was I heard there. I heard
was
some phrase about...
TR is fabulous. TR is fabulous. It's, yeah, I don't know. I was boggled my mind on that one.
Something about, it sounded like a female voice maybe,
Yeah.
and all their taste is in their mouths or something was a phrase I heard in there. Okay.
More Prince silliness there.
Yeah, playing around with us all. Another Prince one coming up, too. Another one that I think you'll find amusing. Plus, we'll be looking into that Eagles song that caller we had a few moments ago brought up. All right, let's dig into another one of these right now, in fact. This one, Iron Maiden. And comes from the LP Still Life, the song Peace of Mind, in the forward direction.
Yes.
in the reverse direction, you hear this.
What? Who said the thing with 3 bones? Good Melwick thing, who understand?
I don't get the first part of it. Maybe there's someone listening now who knows what's in there, but the second part is, don't meddle with things you don't understand. At least that's what I hear there. It's sort of a strangely accented reading of it. Don't meddle with things you don't understand. All right, on to Led Zeppelin. This one everybody's been waiting for, probably the subject of more discussion and more controversy than any of the others because of Page's involvement with the occult. This from the LP Led Zeppelin 4, from Stairway to Heaven. Here's what you hear in the forward direction.
Yes, there are 2 paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on.
In the reverse direction first, without me telling you what you're supposed to hear. Okay, this one's tough too. Listen close. Here's what you're supposed to hear. Oh, it's my sweet Satan, the one whose little path makes me sad, whose power is Satan. Again. Oh, it's my sweet Satan, the one whose little path makes me sad, whose power is Satan. This is Led Zeppelin. Did you hear it? Now, another segment from Stairway to Heaven, this in the forward direction.
Dear lady, can you hear the wind blow? And did you know your stairway lies on the whispering wind?
And in reverse, you hear this. What you're supposed to hear is, I will sing because I live with Satan. Maybe?
With a New York accent, too.
Yeah, how about that? That Page, he's a pretty talented fellow, if he can get a line that makes sense in the forward direction and also in the reverse direction, and as you point out, with a bit of an accent. Yeah. Especially considering he's a Londoner.
That's right. Even more the amazing.
It is. Well, shall we delve back into the phones?
Oh, let's do press on.
I see we have, again, all of our lines are going here, so if you want to call, we want to hear from you, but be persistent. And you're on MMS. Hello.
Yes, what you're saying, isn't it that, what you're saying is...
Yeah? Do you have a radio on somewhere?
Oh, hold on, yeah. What you're saying is that you said we've listened and you're playing it and you tell us that we're supposed to hear this, and then, like, the first time you play it, you don't tell us, and then we don't, it's like gibberish, and then you play it and then we hear it. Is it you're trying to say that you don't believe this and that if you want to hear it, it's there to hear?
You decide for yourself.
Okay. And,
that's why I'm doing it that way.
Yeah, have you heard of the Pink Floyd song?
Coming up.
Okay.
Thank you. Hello, you're on Livewire.
Yes. The way I feel about it is that people are going to believe what they want to believe. I mean, it's all in their minds. If these people want to play or have their cults and their songs, that's them. these kids aren't going to follow by what they hear. They're going to do it if they want to. And the way I feel is that rock and roll is hiding it. Country isn't. You know how your parents say, well, listen to country, it's so good for you. Well, country comes right out and says, right out in the open.
Yeah, country music is pretty raunchy these days, no question about that.
I mean, you know how they say we're going to go get a beer and all this stuff. At least they're hiding it. I don't know, it's just, if people want to believe in these songs and they can believe in them and do what they say, that's their own actions, that's their own mind. That song's not telling them to go out and do it.
Well, of course. I guess the people that are concerned about these things
Or the parents.
Well, of course, you're right about that. It's people that don't understand what's going on. But also, these people are convinced, and I will have some information on this aspect of it too, the scientific aspect. All of this, a subcategory of something that science is not sure exists. That is, subliminal perception. The idea that we might be able to perceive things subconsciously that we can't perceive consciously.
Yeah, but like, if you take a word and you play it backwards, anybody's going to believe what they want it to believe. Mainly parents.
Well, but the people that are convinced that these things are there and that they're diabolical and so on are convinced that somehow the brain is able to hear these things and interpret them, and in fact that they're especially diabolical because they are in reverse, because it somehow slips into your head without you being aware of it and has an effect on your thinking without you having conscious control over it. That's what the people that believe in this stuff are saying.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, I just think if you can't have, you know, consciously have a hold of your mind, that, you know, you shouldn't be listening to this in the first place then.
Okay, appreciate your comments.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, you're on MMS.
Yes, okay. Now, along the line of the way this influences, there is a book that it's called Subliminal Seduction.
Mm-hmm. It's an old book now. It's probably 10 years old, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, in that book, it's explained that there are proven facts that these things do affect the mind. And anyway, that's just one side thought that I was thinking about. But what I would like to know is, obviously you don't believe this, but what I would like to know is, how would you explain how they come up with these things? Just you know, out of their mind. You say Jimmy Page is talented. Well, actually what happened was, this is known. They wrote it in Aleister Crowley's mansion, and he actually said that it came to him.
So you think that that these things, you go further than the callers who've said that Page purposefully put him in. You're saying Page was inspired, if you will, to use that term,
Well,
inspired by some demonic power or something, and that it was done without him even knowing it. Is that what you're saying?
No, he knew it. He even said that it came to him. They wrote it in Aleister Crowley's mansion, who was owned by Aleister Crowley, who was a Satanist. And if you believe, now I know you don't, but if you believe in that Satan is involved in this thing, Jimmy Page actually said that it came to him, it came to them that he wrote this. And who else how could you just think of it? What I would like to know is, I just would like to know how you explain how they just think of these things.
Well, I don't know, but you've certainly raised an interesting point here. I suppose if you are a Christian, you believe in the fact that human writers were inspired to write the Bible, that somehow it came not from the writers' heads themselves, but from some external, godly influence. Then I suppose it's not that much of a leap to believe that the devil could have influenced Page to write Stairway to Heaven the way he did.
Okay, well, no, not thinking, just not talking about inspiration of the Bible. I'm just saying, if this knowing that these things are there, and they seem to be pretty much obvious. Some of them, I can see that you don't believe in that. Some of them are there.
I'm very skeptical.
Yes, I can see that. But I mean, do you have any explanation just for the one? If they're there, how could they possibly come up with them without some kind of help? Saying this is the whole argument of tonight. Whether it is something involved with Satan, if you believe in Satan.
Right.
But how would you explain that then?
Explain what, their presence?
Yeah, I can see that you wouldn't believe that it was that Satan is involved in this. But if you don't believe that, how would you explain, how could they come up with this? How could they get words that come backwards, you know? And
in other words, when we play those things in reverse, you're absolutely convinced that those phrases are there and they're clear enough there that it wasn't just some quirk, some coincidence that they happen to sound that way in reverse.
Oh, yes, I believe that. I think a lot of people tonight believe that it's obviously there. And maybe you don't, but I was just wondering if you had any kind of explanation. You know, you said something about talent. I was wondering if you just had any kind of explanation.
No, I don't.
About that.
I don't. There are, I guess, 3 or 4 theories, and I don't know which one is the correct one. The one theory is that they're not there at all, that it's just coincidence that we hear these things, that it's all power of suggestion. That's theory 1. Theory 2 is that Page wrote the song purposefully and carefully so that the lyrics would play something that made sense in reverse and also in the forward direction. That, of course, would mean that Page had remarkable skill, because it would certainly be a very difficult thing to do. And then the third one that you just brought up here was the thought that maybe, in fact, some supernatural power influenced this to occur, even without Page's knowledge.
Okay, well,
those are the theories that are on the table.
Yeah, okay, the one fact is true, though. He said that it came to him, and they wrote it in one night. Now, writing it in one night, that is very hard. You have to, if you were just to do it by telling some, you'd have to take a tape recorder, go forward and backward, forward and backward. You'd have to study the English language thoroughly to get
Nothing says he couldn't have done it, though. I mean, I don't think you can rule that possibility out.
Right, but can you think of the odds in that? The odds of writing a song
very,
like that?
very difficult. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I would just like to say the whole point of my argument is that I can see that to me, I think there is some involvement. Whether I believe in the Bible or whatever, I think there is some kind of involvement with Satan, because the fact that he said it came to him, they wrote it in one night in a Satanist mansion owned by Aleister Crowley, and just the whole song, the way it came out so well, and all these, the odds of it being just talent, you know, it doesn't, me being an intelligent person, I just can't accept that. I would have to say there's something more involved. That's just what I would say.
Thanks for calling us.
Thank you.
Appreciate your opinion.
Thank you. Bye.
Till midnight with this thing we do every week called Livewire. Next week, open phones. Tonight, TR producing Cheap Trick. The next band we'll take a look at. This from the Heaven Tonight LP. The song, How Are You? This is what it sounds like in the forward direction. You hear in the background there, sounds like a tape recording running fast, and it turns out that's exactly what it is. This one we slowed down, reversed, and dropped out one channel, and this is what you hear. You gotta listen real close. There's a female voice in there, and this one is actually pretty clear. Once you hear it, There's no question that it's there. It's the Lord's Prayer. Listen again. Yeah? That one's pretty clearly there. Once you hear it, there's not much doubt about it, no question. On to the one that, I think I played this a couple of weeks back, and somebody mentioned it earlier this evening. This is from John Lennon's LP, the one that he recorded with Yoko just before he got killed in New York. And there are some people who believe at the front of Kiss, 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 the song Kiss, 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 you hear Yoko, when you play it in reverse, saying something here. Let's hear that portion in the forward direction. This is from Double Fantasy. And then it goes into the song. Yoko doing sort of that, whatever it is she does, those strange sounds that she makes and calls music. If you play it in the reverse direction, well, let's do it the same way. I'm not going to tell you what you're supposed to hear here first. What you're supposed to hear is, "We shot John Lennon." Listen to it again. What do you think?
I think it was TR is hot. Play it again.
What am I'm giving you some ideas with all of this. You're now going to
That's right.
insert some subliminal messages in your show
Very true.
now,
Very
so
true.
that, you know. Yeah.
Can use all the help I can get.
Right. Listen to TR all of the time. Listen to TR all of the time. Yeah, good idea. I wonder, I think, believe it or not, I think that there was, and I just barely remember hearing something about this, in the 50s, the late 50s, this is distant history, that there was a manufacturer who had some kind of a device that could insert subliminal messages into TV programs. And they were selling this. I remember reading in an old broadcasting magazine that they had these things available. And the TV stations could get some more advertising revenue from using these things and charging advertisers for, subliminal insertions, I guess you could call them. And the FCC in the late 50s cracked down on this and said, you can't, as a broadcaster, you can't air these subliminal messages. So just keep that in mind there, TR.
Yes, sir. I'll have to behave myself.
All right. Let's take a break. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll play some commercials here and then return with some more calls and some more messages as Livewire continues on WMMS.
Hey, do you know the first day Jeff and Flash worked together on WMMS?
When Pat Benatar married Neil Giraldo?
Stevie Nicks' birthday, debut of Rolling Stone magazine. These questions and more are answered in the new improved 1986 MMS Buzzard calendar.
An all-new convenient 8.5 by 11 size packed full of important dates in Buzzard history.
Plus, over 20 full-color photos from your favorite Cleveland concerts, including
Bruce Springsteen,
John Wayne,
Tina Turner,
the Michael Stanley Band,
John Cougar Mellencamp,
David Bowie,
Bono of U2,
Bill Collins,
Sting.
You won't get through 1986 without one.
Get yours at Arsenic and Old Lace Akron, Detour Wax Museum, Cleveland, Record Revolution, Parma, and all Rosie's locations.
Only from WMMS.
We asked people who don't like sugarless gum to try our gum. They didn't know it was new Trident.
I would chew this gum over the gum that I've been chewing.
Then we told them it was new Trident.
I'm surprised that it's a sugarless gum. This gum has kept its flavor.
Now Trident's softer, with even longer lasting flavor.
I like Trident sugarless chewing gum because it's soft, it has a smooth texture, and it has a refreshing flavor that lasts for a long time.
The great new taste, that'll when you open a sugarless gum.
Taste new Trident.
Last night, while you slept, the zits came out like stars. Across your forehead, the Big Dipper. On your chin, the Little Dipper. On your nose, the North Star. To win the Star Wars once and for all, get Oxy 10 with benzoyl peroxide, the strongest acne medicine you can buy. To dry up zits and help keep new zits from forming. Maximum strength Oxy 10 helps keep the stars where they belong, in the sky.
Here's one for you. Male satin bowerbirds are the accomplished interior decorators of the bird world. Now hang on, you'll find out what this might mean in a moment. They like to ornament their nests with colorful exotic art objects like feathers, blossoms, snail shells, bits of insects, snake skins, and human artifacts like glass and paper. Some even paint the twigs of their bowers using a mixture of charcoal and saliva. University of Maryland researcher Gerald Borgia watched male satin bowerbirds in Australia and wondered if all this work was to impress the ladies. So he kept a copulation count and found that sure enough, the males with the fanciest bowers got the lion's share of the sex action. But the researcher suggests that the appeal isn't to the females' artistic sensitivities, but to more practical considerations. The male bowerbirds are continually ripping off each other's pads for fancy art objects. Thus, the males who've managed to retain the biggest art collections are obviously the toughest and strongest. That, says the researcher, is what the ladies really want. Maybe some advice for we human males in that story from the animal kingdom. Meals from this cookbook won't be quickly forgotten. From the Windy City comes the I Love to Fart cookbook, if you can believe it. Now, this is for real. Actually, Turnbull and Willoughby Publishing of Chicago has published this book, and in there they have recipes for dishes that not only taste good but also promise to leave a lingering aroma around the place. Now, who would buy such a publication?
People at the gas company.
Whoa, boo. What smells good doesn't necessarily taste good. An interesting follow-up piece to the last, actually. Russian drinkers have discovered this. For instance, Carmen perfume is said to have a notably unpleasant taste. This is all part of the experimentation that's sweeping the country, aimed at finding palatable substitutes now that the Soviet government has made vodka more difficult to obtain. The vodka crackdown has created unexpected traffic problems in Moscow. A Moscow newspaper complains that traffic jams are being created by all the official limousines of government bigwigs, which are using work hours to prowl the city in search of drink and forming long lines when some source is discovered. Hard to believe, but it's true, and this is Livewire.
You can call Livewire right now, 348-1007, or 1-800-348-1007. Steve's waiting for your calls right now. Remember, don't say no dirty words and nothing.
And at the present time, all of our lines are tied up, so if you want to call in, please be patient and persistent. Lots more of the supposed messages coming up. And more of your phone calls, too, as we move up toward midnight and the conclusion of this go-round of Livewire. At that hour, it will be Pete Townsend in concert on the King Biscuit, followed by the Talking Heads at 1, interviewed by Mary Turner off the record. To the phones. You're on MMS. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Fine.
Fine. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the topic tonight.
Go for it.
Am I on? Oh, okay.
Have at it.
What's that?
Have at it.
Okay, I think a lot of the jitterish subliminals are purely coincidence, you know, because I think if they put a message there that they would really want you to hear it. You know, they're not going to put something there that you have to really listen to it about 20 times to understand anything about it. You know, there's some of them that, you know, are real clear. I believe those are put on intentionally, but I think a lot of them are just purely coincidence. I think as evangelists are making too much of an issue out of it.
All right. Thanks for your opinion.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
You're on Livewire. Hello.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, all right. Hey, how you doing?
Well, pretty good, I guess.
All right. I want to say that a lot of this stuff about having these backwards messages are just a lot of junk, a lot of BS, because if you listen to almost any song, you'll hear a backwards message in almost anything. And I was reading an article by Neil Peart because his band Rush was being put on the scene, saying that they have a backwards message in some of their songs. And I was reading an article in them, and he said that if you were to listen to the Star Spangled Banner backwards, that you would probably hear a backwards message in there, you know, and how wouldn't you be so smart as to